From the Lower Colorado River Authority, this is Wavelength.
The creation of this new river authority will help electrify rural Texas.
And so today, we gather here to dedicate this mighty structure, the Cannondale.
This has been a great organization for 70 years, and it's going to be a great organization for a long time to come.
Hi everyone, welcome to the March 2006 edition of Wavelength. Over 400 managers and supervisors attended the General Manager's biannual meeting held February 21st. The theme of this meeting, change.
The rate of change and the rate of the number of changes that we're going to see here at LCRA in the future is going to increase.
Beal says that's because LCRA is a much larger organization now, delivering more and more services to a rapidly growing population.
So what do we do?
Probably the most anticipated topic for discussion was the recent reorganization of LCRA's management structure. Joe Beal says this change grew out of his personal search for ways he could continue as LCRA General Manager and lead the company where it needs to go.
And what I finally came to was the realization that if I didn't change, if I didn't do something different, number one, I wouldn't be doing as good a job as I could do as General Manager. And number two, that I probably couldn't remain as General Manager much longer because I was working myself to death and not working on the right things. I was not spending enough time with my board members. That's important for two reasons. Number one, they write my paycheck. And number two, they're a talented bunch of people that can help this organization if I take the time to communicate with them and tell them what we are doing, and more importantly, to understand what they want us to do.
Beal says he must also spend more time with our customers, both electric and water. He wants to communicate more with legislators and other government officials, and he wants to be able to visit and communicate directly with employees on a regular basis. The new organizational structure brings all utility operations, energy, water, and transmission under Assistant General Manager and Chief Operating Officer Marcus Pridgeon. And Assistant General Manager and Chief Administrative Officer Rick Blunser will head up human resources, community services, federal and state government affairs, corporate communications, and regulatory and external affairs.
I think you'll see that the new structure will lend itself, I hope, to more accountability. It will make decision-making quicker. One of the things that we hear routinely from folks all across the company, you see it in leadership LCRA certainly, I've heard it firsthand from folks, is two things. We don't do a good job holding people accountable, and nobody seems to be able to make a decision. And the phenomenon that Joe described was this idea of kicking the decision-making up to where Joe is sitting in meetings deciding where the Coke machine is going to go in the Miller building. You know, that's probably not the best use of his time. And I think this structure fixes that. We're going to work as a team. Everybody on this stage is going to work as a team. And in particular, Marcus and I are going to spend a lot of time working closely together. We are going to make this work. And everybody on this stage is going to make this work. And y'all have to help us.
I not only pledge myself to the organization, but I also pledge myself to Rick Blunser to help him in any fashion I can with the activities that he's involved in. And Rick's done the same thing for me. And so you should see us set an example, and if you don't, you should come see us and talk to us. I want to thank Joe for the opportunity he's given Rick and I, and I look forward to it. Thank you.
To find out more about the reorganization, go to the Inside LCRA homepage.
No one expected another drought like that of '33. And the really big dries like 1918 came once in a lifetime. Why worry, they said. It'll rain this fall. It always had, but it didn't. And many a boy would become a man before the land was green again.
West Texas author Elmer Kelton lived through the devastating drought of the 1950s, now commonly referred to as the Drought of Record in Texas. His novel, The Time It Never Rained, resulted from watching his father and other ranchers struggle to survive that drought.
Every time we go into one of these dry spells or even an extended drought, it always seems to catch a lot of people by surprise. They want to get back to normal. They don't realize that this is normal, that the rainy years are the anomaly. Therefore, we're never totally prepared.
Sometimes islands have popped up at Lake Travis as water levels dropped more than 17 feet below the full capacity elevation of 681 feet above mean sea level. The lake hasn't been this low since 2000, and since that time, about 192,000 people have moved to the Austin metro area. Most of those folks have never seen this kind of change in lake levels.
We're right now in an extreme drought as defined by the National Drought Monitor, meaning that we're now seeing impacts from this lack of rainfall, everything from wildfires to agriculture. I mean, it is having a big impact on folks around this part of the state.
Lake Buchanan and Lake Travis, the two water storage reservoirs managed by LCRA, have a combined capacity of 2 million acre-feet of water. When that capacity falls below certain trigger points, the drought management plan kicks in.
We actually dropped, as far as our storage capacity, we dropped below the 1.6 million acre-feet trigger there in early December. What that does is that triggers our voluntary water conservation program and outreach.
Something we all can do is conserve water in our daily lives. Experts say 50% of the water used by the average homeowner goes outside. LCRA now offers an educational program available to homeowners and builders called the Hill Country Landscape Option. The idea is to add high-quality soil, then use native and well-adapted plants, water efficiently, and design your landscape for long-term success.
Essentially, when people are utilizing native and well-adapted plants in the proper amount of soil, they've got plants that are healthy and that can withstand the normal kinds of weather cycles that we experience in Central Texas. So establishing a hill country landscape is an insurance policy for future droughts.
Several builders and developers are now offering the Hill Country Landscape Option in new growth areas in western Travis and Hays counties. At least 3 of the 10 boat ramps on Lake Travis are out of the water, and more will become unusable if dry weather persists this spring and summer. All boaters should watch for navigational hazards outside the lake's main channel.
Droughts come in cycles. It's expected, and we have planned for those. Our water management plan is designed not only to maximize the available water that we do have, but also to be able to enable us to have sufficient waters to meet critical needs of cities and industries and power, even if we were to have a repeat of a worse drought of record, which occurred during the 1950s.
Many of these dry spells, again, are broken with huge rain events, and the all-time rain event for Lake Travis goes back to 1952, when the lake came up 57 feet in just a period of 24 hours. Just amazing volume of water entering this lake in just a short period of time.
This month on Board Profile, meet Woody McCasland, representing Llano County. Woody McCasland was appointed to the LCRA Board of Directors by Governor Rick Perry in 2005. Woody grew up in the Waco area. He attended Baylor University and spent his early career working as a bank examiner for the state of Texas. In 1963, he started the Highland Lakes Bank in Kingsland, the very first bank in that community.
You've got to remember that Kingsland at that particular time was a community that had a little post office, grocery store, and a filling station all in one building. And we had one cafe and a few fishing camps.
McCaslin played a significant role in the early growth and development of the Highland Lakes region. Today, Woody is semi-retired. He and his wife Donna live here in Horseshoe Bay. They are both very involved in charitable work, supporting area hospitals, senior centers, and family crisis shelters.
The area has blessed me well, and I believe in sharing back and wanting to see that the community continues to get the things that it needs. If I have a legacy in life, I want to return back to this area, the Highland Lakes area overall, because that's where it came from.
Love that picture of you.
When their 5 grandchildren allow them time, Donna and Woody share a great passion for travel.
We have, over the last 15 to 20 years, have visited all 7 continents, and we've touched our feet in about 130 countries overall. People ask me, what is your favorite place in the world? And I say, well, my favorite place is the world.
One of his favorite travel experiences? The pristine beauty of Antarctica. Donna says Woody has been very enthusiastic about his appointment to the board.
I think for Woody it's a new lease on life, you know, after sort of giving up a lot of his duties at the bank. It's been really nice for him to be involved in something, and the lakes are so close to him, and this is his way of giving back as well to the community.
Woody McCaslin's term on the LCRA board will expire in 2011.
Traffic. It's a mess. Did you ever notice how many vehicles around you have just one person in them? Think how many hundreds of cars and trucks could be removed from traffic if we just doubled up or found an alternate way to get there.
Getting ready for the ride home?
Victoria Black was a member of the Leadership LCRA Class of 2001, which came up with a list of ways employees could reduce air emissions. That list, along with a challenge from Joe Beal to reduce the number of miles driven at LCRA by 10%, has become a very successful program called Keep It Parked. Employee interest in the program has dramatically increased with the recent spike in gasoline prices.
And because of that, I think people are really starting to change their behavior in commuting to work and driving at work. And I think it really is becoming ingrained in the culture of LCRA to think about if those trips are absolutely necessary, and to think of alternative ways of getting that information or getting those people together without getting in the car and taking it there personally.
LCRA employees drive some 81,000 miles to and from work each day, and another 8,000 miles on LCRA business. Keep It Parked is starting to chip away at those numbers.
In February, I was able to avoid approximately 2,000 miles.
Lori Helford lives in Bastrop County and works a flexible schedule so that she and her husband can make their 110-mile round trip together. Lori won a $25 gas card for most miles avoided in January.
I think it, really helps me and, my husband out, but then I think it's also a really good thing for the environment. So I think it's a win-win situation.
Victoria Black won a $25 gift certificate from Keep It Parked for the non-motor category.
On the way in, I get kind of revved up for getting into my work when I get there. I just think about what I got in the day ahead and take my time in getting to work. We're so rushed all the time to get someplace, and it just kind of gives me a time to relax before I get my day going.
There are many other ways you can avoid miles and participate in the program, like teleconferencing, video conferencing, teleworking, satellite officing, park and ride options, and flexible scheduling.
When I found out that LCRA would actually help me to ride the bus and to save gas and save money, I jumped right on that because I saw that was a real good deal, and it made me happy to know that LCRA was doing such a wonderful thing, not only for the environment, but also for the employees.
The program also subsidizes Capital Metro bus passes and van pools.
With the van pool program, I get on the van in Smithville, so I'm saving roughly a little over 70 miles per day in terms of my commute. The biggest month I had was in January, where the total for the month was a little over 1,300 miles saved.
To date, LCRA employees have logged over 400,000 miles avoided in the online Keep It Park database.
Thanks.
Well, that's it for this edition of Gateway. We'll look forward to seeing you again next time.